Hey folks, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be building this LA7 model kit from the unknown distributor. So the kit just says old, if I'm not mistaken this is a old kit and it's just been reboxed in this. So let's begin. And as you can see, I've already begun building. You can see the pilot and the seat right there that I just cut off. The detail is very minimal and there's a lot of flash to clean up. I think I did a pretty decent job, but while I was doing this, as you can see, the blade has already been dulled quite a bit and I did not change it during this build, so I only changed it after, excuse me. And so that means the pieces were not cut the best with a scalpel, but it all worked out in the end. So right now it's a bit out of focus, unfortunately, I'm sorry. And you can see how how bad it looks. You can see that the fit is actually quite decent, but you know, there are some ejector pin marks that I did not remove because I didn't feel like I need to put that much effort in this kit, since I just went a bit back to basics with this kit. So you can see the strand of hair got stuck there. Um, but yeah, that's all the detail that you're getting, except for the pilot figure. But I did buy some photo etch, as you can see here from Edward, which I did struggle to put in there, and I did lose a piece. But no worries, in the end I managed to get something in there and it looked decent. It had a control panel. This kit doesn't even come with that, unfortunately. So right now I'm putting on a gray color right there. I'm not basing it to black or something. I'm not airbrushing it because that would just be time consuming on such a small and detailless cockpit, of course. Um, the seat is also getting painted in the gray color, but then it will have another color for the leather parts of the seat. So currently I'm just putting a gray color onto everything. Now, I don't know exactly the release date of the original kit. I did not research it, I'm sorry. Although I should have made a bit of research here. You can see that there's still a pin mark right there at the end of the cockpit, but it will not be visible because the cockpit is also quite thick, so that's a problem right there in its own right. But I'm going in with a second layer just to make sure it looks decent enough, even though this is mostly not necessary. But you know, if I wanted to, I was very positive starting this build, and I really hoped that I could achieve something really nice with this build and turn something nice out of something so old and so out of date. But as you will see at the end, I mostly gave up with this, and I couldn't take it anymore. Basically, this kit, it took me 3 months to finish, and that's why I haven't posted in such a long time. I just been doing this kit. Maybe I should have started a side build, but then my workbench would have gotten way too messy. So as you can see here, changing the subject now, we can see the main fuselage and the wings. And if you guys look at the wings, you can see how warped they are and how much flash they have. So there's quite an amount of flash right there. But I did pre-paint this, so there's no need to worry there. And as you can see, that's the photo etch right there. I did do a little bit of scratch painting, and I think it turned out decently. And you can see some painted seat belts on there because I'm not bothering to make them out of uh, masking tape. And you can see the engine right there, the engine cowling, which is just one piece. There's absolutely no engine detail, and this is the engine done right here with the propeller on. The propeller is actually bent. One of the propellers is bent, and I will bend it a bit more because it's very thin, and I will move my hand in the wrong direction and I will bend it a bit. Now the problems will start from here. The photo etch is a bit too big, so I had to make some adjustments. Of course, I don't think you're going to be seeing any of those adjustments, but I will be struggling a bit with the photo etch. So you can see the fuselage parts here. They're just laying on the ground motionlessly. But yeah, you can see I took that off because I was trying to get it to work. I was sanding down bit by bit, and I even tried bending the photo edge because I did glue it with super glue. So I did try to bend the photo edge right there. Although that didn't work, uh, I eventually got to this point right here where I just decided to put a fuse right there and just throw away the photo edge. But then again, I was quite sad because then I would have worked a lot and didn't even get to use the photo edge that I bought. So you can see there, that's my that's the bit of photo edge that I managed to cut the photo edge in a reasonable piece. It still doesn't look perfect. I mean, it's far from perfect, but I tried something. And now you can see how much flash there is. Even on the spruce there is a lot of flash. So that just shows how much, how old this kit is and how poor the tooling is. You can see the amount of flash on the wings as well, and you can see just on the front right there how much flash there is. It's just an enormous amount of flash that just was very annoying to clean away. I don't really think I cleaned it all away, and if I did, I don't think I did it perfectly. You can see right here, cutting away the flash. I could have done it in a more tidy manner and slower a bit. My cutting skills weren't exactly on point here. I should have used a different technique, but this is the end result right here, and I think it looks decent enough. I mean, I did think that at the moment, but right now, my opinion hasn't changed since then. And right now I'm using Revolve glue to glue the pieces together. So I do feel like that was the right choice right there. Revolve glue is really good for these tasks because it's really thick and it's had a strong bond. So it's better than the Tamiya glue in these scenarios. But in another scenario, I would recommend using the Tamiya glue, the extra thin. But having a Revolve glue never hurt anyone. Now, sometimes I'm doing stuff like this, so I do have no idea. I'm sorry, there's gonna be some out of focus shots, and there is also gonna be a lot of cut content because I couldn't make myself do it. Even I'm gonna say this right now. While I painted the model kit, I messed up the mixing, the ratio for the paint, and it was too splashy and too watery, and it just made a big blob of paint on the right wing, and I just didn't want to clean it off, and I just painted over it, so the end result is not satisfactory in the slightest for the right wing. Also, it's not a very tidy build, but I'm still going to post this video to show you guys what happens when you basically give up halfway through the build and just decide to speedrun it in one day. I worked up until the point of painting in about 2 months on and off because I had really no hope for this model kit. I just couldn't get myself to do it. And when I got to the painting process, I just did it in a couple of hours, in one day, in one sitting, because I couldn't bother myself loading up my airbrush and then cleaning the airbrush and with the different paints that were needed right there. So, as you can see, I glued both pieces on and used a lot of masking tape. Now, going back to the landing gear, to the back landing gear, I did not build this kit with a open landing gear because, again, I didn't have the patience to do it anymore. I needed to get rid of this kit. I needed to just see this project to the end and go on with my life. So you can see here the back wings. They are just going in place, and I had no issues with them. Surprisingly, they fitted very well. Now, while I was building these kits, I was really excited for the decals. The decals looked extremely promising. They looked like they had an extreme quality, and I really hoped that they would be very nice and they would have no issues. Now, that's where I was very wrong. As you will see at the end of the video when I'm placing the decals, they are horrible. And I made a mistake of buying this kit, although I did it for $4, so that was a great trade. But don't ever buy something like this. Like, don't do what I did. You will probably end up in the same situation, or I mean, if you have more patience and you're determined to do something like that. I was also determined at the start. I don't know why I lost that much determination. This kit was just too much for me. I disliked this kit. I do feel like it could have been a better kit if the decals were actually good, because that was the strong point, or at least that's what I thought was the strong point. Now, as you can see, I changed settings right here. You can see the part of the stick that holds it. Now, you can see right here the cockpit, the canopy, right here. So now the canopy is extremely thick. You can see it right here how thick it is. It has a pretty big thickness. Now I'm just adjusting the camera right here so that you can see even better. So it also has a lot of flash that has to be cleaned up, and I also did a pretty poor job in doing that as well. I just couldn't bother myself. But then again, I could have done a better job here as well. As you can see, it's so thick. I could have tried to get the thickness down a bit, but it would have been way too much of a bother. Now, here's where the problem started. Now, I did glue the cockpit on, and this was basically like the last time I touched this kit in a long time, because I just couldn't get myself to touch it. I just saw how ridiculous it looked, and one of the sprues flew in some direction, and I just didn't find a sprue. I did find it eventually, but it was a bit too late. So I was also not careful while handling the sprues for this kit, and that took that left a lot of problems. But I do feel like it worked out really well. Now continuing, I will take these things. They are supposed to hold the bombs. This aircraft can hold. I mean, this kit does come with two bombs, which I did not put on, and I also, unfortunately, while it was drying, I moved one of these bomb holders from its place, and I kind of messed it up a lot. You can see how small the pieces are because the kit is very small. You can see they also have a lot of flash, and I don't remember if I cleaned them or not. Maybe I cleaned them. I think I cleaned them, but I'm not really sure about that. So doing a pretty decent job here with this kit. It could have been a lot better, but you know. Now, this this didn't go well at all. As you can see, I didn't clean it. You can see right there, there's still flash, and you can see how warped the propeller is and how out of shape it is. It's literally bent in the wrong direction, and I could have bent it back in shape. And like I said, this is all my fault. Now, this is a painting process right here. So, as you can see, look at the big blotch of paint on the right wing. You can see how bad it looks. I tried airbrushing it, and I didn't want to do it anymore, and so I just decided to paintbrush the rest. I made a mixture of black and white to get this gray color because I didn't really have any grays that matched this color really well. So I decided to mix them until until I thought I got the right mixture. So I applied two thin layers of this paint, and the first layer was quite a bit blotchy, and the brush was also a bit damaged, and I could have used a better brush for this. This brush was a very poor choice by me, but you know, those things happened, and it's fine, I guess. But the paint didn't even go everywhere, the base color that I was supposed to do. I also started painting the underside with the light blue color, but that also didn't turn out well. And I tried pre-shading it, but I messed it up because I made the paint way too thick, and it just covered the paint instantly, the black pre-shading instantly. So I got a bit angry and decided to just throw that idea out of the window and just freehand everything. Now, as you can see, that this is the done model kit, and you can see I'm also agreeing by myself that it's pretty bad. Now, I did change the blade here. Oh no, actually no, I didn't change the blade. Sorry, my bad. But I'm cutting the decals right here, and you will see how poor these decals are right here. So the number is actually on the film carrier, and you're actually supposed to cut around the decals, but there are no instructions telling you to do that. So I just ended up putting them on as they are, and after doing that, I cut around them with my blade. So that did a pretty decent job, I think, fixing it. But yeah, the decals were still very poor. I did learn my lesson and cut the next two decals to their shape. I mean, not around those. These Czechoslovakian roundos were absolutely destroyed. I mean, one of them was destroyed, that one right there, and unfortunately, this didn't work. Right here, they were all just a big piece, and it was just very unfortunate. They were all just a big piece of yeah of decal. They were just one huge decal, so I just had to cut them in separate pieces with my knife. And it's unfortunate of focus right here. I didn't notice that while I was filming. I'm sorry, but you can see that they went on decently. I mean, I hate it when it doesn't focus. And sorry. No problem right here. So continuing with this, it could have been better. Now I don't really bother showing you the rest of the decals because it's just the same process, but they don't break. I also do use some decal settling solution, and I did weather a bit the aircraft how I saw it fit. I didn't really bother looking at some reference images, so I just decided it was for the bet. So these are the final images of the aircraft. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Hopefully this was a learning experience for some of you as well. Bye bye.